What did I want to title this podcast, guys? It is what's the date today? What do we got going on here, guys? I am in my office right now. It is Tuesday, September 29th. I have a couple Zoom calls later. This is the first day in weeks that I've actually had like a full day off of shooting. Of course, we'll be editing, we'll be doing business stuff, which is what we normally do. But I wanted to kind of come on and start doing what I intended to do with this podcast. Guys, so this is Raw Focus. I'm Jeramie Lou. And when I started this podcast, it was very specific on photography. It was very like I wanted to talk to my photographers out there, people that are struggling, people that are doing things, figuring out ways that we can get together and help each other. And when I started it, it was due to the pandemic, right? I wasn't working, we weren't doing anything, and I wanted to kind of get the community together. I then became some sort of advocate to a lot of these small businesses around town that needed to get their word out, people that were having sales, how they were pivoting into the COVID. And that's kind of where it went to. Now that everything's kind of slowing down, I mean, it's September, it's almost October, my birthday's in a few days, and COVID is still around as far as the numbers go and what they tell us. So everybody's still wearing masks, we're still doing our thing, and I feel like this is a great time capsule for it. But also, this is supposed to be the busiest time of the year for me, for photographers, for all of you guys that are photographers listening, everybody in the event industry, especially in the Reno, Tahoe area. Guys, right now we're supposed to be killing weddings. Right now we're supposed to be drowning in our weddings. It is September. Every September is my busiest month, and then second month is October, and then third month is November. And I have a few weddings trickle in December. I do 35 weddings a year, and this year I'm only doing 15. So let's rock the intro, and then we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I also want to thank everybody for the support so far. I never got into podcasting to get a million listeners. In fact, when I did it, it was more for Facebook Live. I wanted to record it, and then I was like, I have this recording. Why not start a podcast? Got a logo, kind of made it happen. And as of the last few weeks, just looking at the numbers of everybody that's subscribing and listening and all that, I'm in awe. I don't even know how to see who's subscribing. I don't know how that works, but the numbers are there, and I appreciate you guys. So now I feel like I'm actually talking to people when I do these solo ones. Of course, I run a YouTube channel and all that stuff, and it's totally different where I talk to myself and people can comment and all that stuff. But I don't even see a comment system on this. I don't have a way for you to do it. People are emailing me, asking me to talk about certain things, and that's what I'm doing. So what I want to do is every once in a while, I want to do kind of these solo podcasts, a little 30-minute podcast by myself, where I just get to kind of rant and talk about what I know, what I'm good at. And I hope that this portrays or shows you guys that I'm just a regular dude like you, that even though, I've been a photographer for 13 years, I still have my troubles and tribulations, even though I put myself as a mentor. There's still things that I struggle with. And I think it's important that we all kind of know that we are all people, we're all human, and that's kind of what we do. And it's, of course, weird talking to myself in here because I'm just going to keep ranting off everything. So guys, COVID happened. It's happening. It's going on. I will say that I looked at my books the other day and I kind of got bummed. I got sad. And this actually sadness happens to me a couple times a year. It's not depression. It's not anything like that. I don't think I'm depressed. But I go through these whole like, holy crap, my business is failing. What the fuck? Why am I not doing what other photographers are doing? And it sucks. And it stems from maybe I have a Saturday or Sunday off, right? And then I go on to social media and then I see that somebody's having a wedding. In fact, on Saturdays, I'll go through my social media, through stories on Instagram, and people will be having wedding after wedding after wedding. I'm at home, maybe do a few portraits throughout the day, which is totally fine, but I don't have a wedding. And for some reason in my career, I've decided that the more weddings that I can produce, the more money I make, the better of a photographer I am. When in reality, it's not true, because I used to do like 50, 60 weddings at like the 2,000 mark. And now I raise it up to 45 to 5,500, and I'm doing 35. I'm actually making more, shooting less, putting more quality into my work. But for some reason, I still get those downers. And I don't know if you guys get it too. I hope you guys get it too. I keep telling myself it's normal, But like the downs of photography are real, guys. We are basing what we do off of other photographers' work. And it's really, really tough. Oh, beep, beep, beep. It's really, really tough to gauge your work on somebody else. And if somebody were to ask me, Jeramie, everybody's doing great, I'm not doing well, what do I do? The first thing I'm going to tell them is stop looking at other people's work, stop basing what you're doing off of them. Honestly, half these people are charging less than me. A lot of them are doing stuff for friends, for deals. People are making things happen. They're hustling. They're getting stuff out there. They're devaluing their brand. And that's fine. I get it. We're in COVID times. You can do that. But ultimately, I decided as an entrepreneur that I didn't want to devalue my brand. I don't want to sell what I know I can sell for 5,000 or 5,500 and sell it for 3,000 just because I don't have something booked that day. I have to understand that time is value and time is money. And if I don't work, then I get to spend time with my friends, my family, and all that stuff. So it's still a tough lesson for me. Even though I tell you that, even though I know that that's the right thing to do, I still freak out a little bit. So obviously this year is 2020, right? The biggest wedding day of the year is October 2020. I had an amazing couple lined up. In fact, they just moved their wedding to next year. So I still get to shoot them. It'll be next year. I do, and you guys deal with this too. When we book a wedding, we can only book one wedding any given day, right? We can only book, I can't book 3 weddings on 10/10. Yes, I know that I can be what is it? Like a company that, associate company, right? It's an associate company that has a bunch of photographers that come, they shoot, and I can book like 6 weddings in one day and send them out. But my brand is so important to me that I don't trust a lot of people. I don't trust sending somebody as a Jeramie Lou photographer, doing what I do, making things happen, and then being able to produce the same images. I also don't want the headache of somebody not producing the images that I'm supposed to be producing and getting upset because I didn't show up. So that's a whole other game. With that being said, though, I had it booked on 10/10/20, and this is what I've been thinking about a lot. I was going to be able to book I was contacted by 3 other people after I said, hey guys, and I have a little thing on my computer software that says like, hey, these people are wanting that same date. You already said no to them, but you can probably contact them now, right? The lead list, if you will. So my lead list, I had like 17 people that wanted 10/10/20, and I didn't get any of them. And this is not my couple's fault at all that had that date. This is what happens. They moved, everybody moved. For some reason, the 10/10/10 date is, 10/10/20 date is sticking in my head because I know so many of my photographer buddies who have lost dates and then got the dates. My DJ buddies, everybody in Weddings of the West and all that stuff. And so it's really bumming me out. But I was able to book 6 portraits that day. So theoretically, I'm going to be making more money than I would actual wedding. It's weird how that works, right? Because I can shoot, like a portrait for me is around $500 or $600 when I book it. So if I do 6 of those a day, that's 3,000 in a day. It's obviously less work than a wedding. It's a little bit more fun. I have little gaps in between the day to kind of do whatever. But I base everything off of that. I'm bummed because I had 35 weddings booked and now I have 15. Yes, those 20 weddings that I had are either rescheduling or moving to next year, or some have canceled and I keep the retainer. But ultimately, they're taking the positions of another 35 that I can do. So COVID didn't only just affect us this year, it's affecting us up to next year and possibly the year before, because you're only limited to dates. Like I'm only limited to certain dates that I can shoot and things that I can do. And so it saddens me a little bit. Also, what I'm seeing on social media and my people that I'm mentoring, and when I say mentoring, guys, I don't have a full-on mentor program. I have a way for people that need to learn to reach out to me. I can help them with pricing or whatever. I give them a little bit of homework. They come back to me. Usually we would just meet and have coffee and kind of talk and let them on their way, because that's how you should be running your business. You should have somebody that you can bounce ideas off of and then do what you do. You shouldn't be running your business the way I run it, because I run it the way I run it. And so what I'm noticing is that a lot of these photographers are just freaking out. Everybody's freaking out. Everybody is lowering their rates to get people in. And I gotta say, I don't blame them. And I've thought about it too. Like, what can I do to make more money now? What can I do? What can I offer? Can I just give out free digitals? Like, hey, I'll do a shoot and you get 10 free digitals. And I just never pulled the trigger on it, because I know that when I do that, I'm devaluing my brand. And the thing that sucks is, like, I keep seeing these photographers post these things that devalue their brand. hey guys, normally my sessions are $200 and you get all the edited images. But due to this COVID thing, I'm doing it for $100. And I'm like, you're doing $100 shoot. You're doing a $50 shoot. You're just not making any money. And then ultimately, nobody's going to value your brand, right? Nobody's going to care that you're a photographer. Nobody cares about your art. Nobody cares about your gear that you bought. Shoot. I mean, I just got a call right before here. I have Sony A7 IIIs. I have my Sonys right here. And I just switched systems again. So I went from Canon to Sony. Now I'm going back Sony to Canon to R6s. And I just got a call from Action Camera in Reno, and they are in. They're in. They're here. I'm super excited. I'm super excited. But I booked myself all morning, and so I won't be able to go get them till later. And then what actually makes me anxious too is I have to film an unboxing, because that's what I do in my world. So I have to film an unboxing, so it's not like I can just open stuff and then take it right away and then make it happen. I have to like do a whole process of unboxings and all that junk. So, but that's money that I'm spending on that gear. And if I devalue my brand, does anybody care about the gear that I'm using? I mean, really nobody cares. Like us photographers, like, yeah, we got to get the 5D Mark what, Mark 2, Mark A, and I know the numbers, guys. But ultimately, who cares? Who gives a shit, right? Also, who gives a shit if you're shooting with a $50 session? If you're doing a $50 session, I don't expect you to have the best of the best camera and the people but here's the thing. Here's the thing. People do. People expect you to have the best of the best gear no matter what. And then the cheaper the client is, the more complaining they will do. They will complain on this. You didn't edit this way. I don't like the way I like this. And I'm like, well, what do you expect? If you didn't hire a professional, that's what it is. And then the other thing that I'm noticing here is that so many vendors, not only photographers, so many vendors are not licensed and insured, or they've let those lapse this year thinking that's a smart thing to do. I've been on this rant. I've been on this crazy kick on social media lately when people are like tagging me like, hey, anybody have a photographer? We're looking for a photographer for a wedding, for portraits, or for whatever, right? We're going into fall season. And people are putting out their prices there. And all I'm doing is saying, hey, make sure that, you don't have to book me, but whoever you book, make sure that they are licensed and they are insured. And once you do that, everything's fine. That's all that really matters. Because then they're actually taking care of their business and all that fun stuff. I'm keeping these weird random phone calls. I don't know who they're from, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So what do I do when I'm down in photography? Guys, usually just kind of passes. You'll know that I feel down when I start throwing out specials, when I start throwing out like, hey guys, digital negatives. And these are not actually bad ones. 30% off all digital negatives in your gallery. I have so many galleries and so many clients that it's actually kind of nice to be able to throw these specials out. People will go buy their images from like 3 or 4 years ago. So I can actually make extra money off of stuff that I did a while ago. But I'll throw these little specials on social media, and that's when I'm starting to feel down. That's when I'm starting to feel like I'm not doing anything. One of the biggest drawbacks this year, and it's a double-edged sword because I kind of like it. I closed my studio Hatch. When I closed Hatch, I felt a lot of the busyness that was happening in my life start to dwindle because I spent so much time there, so much time mentoring, so much time just being around other photographers and making sure that they were doing well, that I wasn't focusing on myself. So when it was time to close, it was actually a smart decision for me to close. But now I have like this extra time, quote unquote, that I'm able to do stuff for me. But ultimately, I'm not spending the busy time, the wasted busy time on helping other photographers. And it's not like I don't like doing that. It wasn't focused on me and my business. So now I feel like when I have like a day off, like today, I'm like, what am I doing wrong in my business? What is it that I'm not doing that people are not booking me, people aren't pushing me? And it makes me sad. So I have to remember those little things as I go through. Ultimately, we want a time-life balance, and that's something that's really hard for me to focus on. So I guess the point of this podcast, guys, this point of this episode is that you guys, we're in the same boat together. It's okay to have days off. It's okay to feel the feelings that you're feeling, but you have to keep going. I'm going to keep shooting. I'm going to keep booking. I'm going to keep pushing. Fall photos are coming. I have clients that love me. I have clients that rely on me. I rely on my clients, and I want to make sure that I keep producing what I'm producing. It's smart right now for you to take this time to pivot into something else, to work on your art, work on your strobe work on your natural light work. Maybe go to istock.com and start selling stock photography of flowers that you shoot outside or something. Just keeping yourself busy, do something for 30 days. And then if it doesn't work, just stop doing it. That's how I feel with the podcast, with the YouTube channel. If it didn't work in the first 30 days, or if I got bored of it, then I would have just stopped. So far, the podcast has actually been really fun. I like talking to myself in an office, and it works out pretty well. But that's it. So that's it. I think that wasn't even like 30 minutes. I think it was like 15, 20 minutes. So guys, again, this is Raw Focus. You guys can email me. All my stuff's in the description below. If you want to follow my work, it's just jeramielou.com. The business name is Jeramie Lou Photography. I do mentor and train photographers all over the world via YouTube, via social media. So if you guys do need help with anything, please reach out. If you are having issues with the photography blues, the downs of photography, I would love to chat, guys. I know that it happens to me when I look at other people's work. I start going through social media. I start going in a deep dive, going through a deep hole of going through people's work and what they're doing and when did they post last? How often are they posting? When was a wedding from? Oh, I haven't shot at this venue forever. Oh my God, they do a wedding every weekend and I haven't been there in 2 years. Stuff like that starts to really, really get to me. One of the things that has helped, though, I know it sounded like I was signing off, huh? You guys thought I was like, hey, he's done. No, he's not done. One of the things that has helped was I became president of Weddings of the West. So if you follow my podcast, you can understand that. And being able to network with these vendors and actually helping these vendors on aspects, not only photography, but business, has actually helped me a ton because it makes me relive the beginnings of my career of like, what did I actually need to do to start my business? What is it that helped me move forward? And so being able to do that and then actually re-implementing those into mine. So if you're not in the Reno area and you have an organization like Weddings of the West, not a BNI group, guys, not a BNI group. This is a group of people that have a like-minded goal, right? There's nothing wrong with BNI groups. So BNI groups are totally different. It's about referring people to your business, less about how we can help with this, and that. It's more of like, hey, let's come and I don't know. I'm just not a fan of BNI groups. Every time I go, I just feel like they spend so much time. Hey, I referred this person to you. I did this for you. I'm a good guy. I did this for you. Do something for me, rather than just like, hey, what's going on within the world? Like, how do we help each other this way? I don't know. It's a weird thing. I just feel really icky every time I leave one. And if you're in a BNI group, kudos to you. It's just not my thing. And for those who have invited me, thank you for inviting me. I'm sorry that I'm not part of your BNI group. But yeah, I think that's kind of it. Weddings of the West has helped out a lot, and I'm feeling a little bit better throughout. But I feel great right now, personally. I mean, I wrote down to make this video last week, but I feel better now because I did a wedding on Saturday, wedding on Sunday. But October of last year, I had 13 weddings. This year, I have 1. Hope you guys are having a good day. I will talk to you guys next time.